Live direct from hell. It's not Spinal Tap. It's Rock Guitar Confidential with Scott and Ryan talking about Spinal Tap. Stay tuned.
Oh my God, we're in time again. Wait, is that 140?
Yep.
Oh, dude.
It's 147.
Why are you starting at 147? 120 is the standard, man. I mean, you must be writing like, are you writing like
this
blast?
podcast shreds.
This is like, dude, this could be the opener, man. We need this freaking rock, and
yes.
It's got to come out the gates.
You need to hit the audience like right in the face,
Exactly
right out of the gate, just as Spinal Tap taught us.
Exactly right. But they start off with Majesty, right? That's the song isn't it Majesty?
Is the Majesty
or
of rock?
One of the two, Hellhole or Majesty.
I think it was Hellhole.
Yeah, that actually is a pretty respectable musicianship in that. For considering those guys are comedians and actors, there's actually some respectable musicianship going on in that. Okay, so apparently I got to issue some kind of the correction or apology, I guess, is towards people.
Oh, there's a little bit of a controversy brewing,
which this podcast is known
base.
for. That's our stock and trade is controversy. That's what we do.
That's right.
We trade in that, man. Much like Bitcoin, we trade in the controversy.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so this program owes an apology to the accounting community.
Okay, I don't know if I'm prepared to go full apology, but apparently I've somehow called into question the importance of the accounting industry.
Yes, well, I'm just here to say that
there's probably some aside that I was just pointing out. So I should probably point out when I was in college, after music school, I went back to college and I went back and got my business degree. And many of the classes in that business degree program were accounting classes, which I describe as my own personal hell. It's like, imagine if you're getting your fingernails taken off slowly while watching like Barry Manilow behind the scenes or something.
Hey, I think Barry Manilow behind the scenes, that would be a fascinating documentary.
I have no doubts that he wrote the songs, but
that make the whole world sing.
The whole world sing. I know. But I was not part of that because there's no rocking, shredding guitars in Barry Manilow. So I was like,
that is true.
What the hell, man? The hell?
Yes.
It's a personal affront to me, just like I am to the accounting profession.
So
okay, anybody who's an accountant, I have nothing against you personally or professionally. I'm glad you exist. There's all kinds of jobs for all kinds of people. That's just fine.
Yes, and
that kind of job sounds like my own personal vision of hell, but that's just me.
And one should not become an accountant and go be quiet. They should become an accountant and rock the fucking earth.
Yes, well, they should take lessons with Brian Bowe. And
that's right.
Rock the earth. That's the key. So
as many professional accountants do.
Almost like Batman. Like you have the Bruce Wayne character and then the Batman character. So like your accounting job is your Bruce Wayne character, and then at nighttime you rock like Batman. That's sort of what it is.
And daytime. And I think the rocking never stops.
That's why
I personally my students who are corporate accountants, and there's more than one of them.
Nice.
They do rock. Both of those.
I have nothing but respect for the fine profession of accountant.
Yes. So here's a shout out to John.
Yes.
Here's a shout out to Dan. You guys rock 24/7. Your rocking never stops.
Begging your pardon, sir. I meant no offense.
So there we go. So that's how Rock Guitar Confidential handles a public on-air apology, folks. It finally happened.
Exactly.
It only took 105 episodes plus a bunch of interviews.
And I'm glad I just didn't have to pander to those filthy librarians.
That's right.
Those subhumans.
Yeah, pick a dead industry, right?
Those newspaper like editors, fuck those guys.
All those telephone switchboard operators.
Exactly. So many jobs in that profession.
So you know what? You just may as well just become a telephone switchboard operator.
Exactly.
And go be quiet.
Exactly right. Don't come and talk to me about rock and roll. I know what from rock and roll.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, we're recording this podcast having just screened Spinal Tap 2.
The end continues.
Which I thought was delightful. It was really, really good. A couple of quick thoughts, and I'd like to maybe trade back and forth with you on your thoughts, Ryan. But to me, it felt like just a delightful just rolling around on the floor with these people again and seeing what they had going on. Everything, they seemed exactly the same as we left them, just older. You know what I mean? So first we can just address the fact that the movie bombed. Yeah. Okay. Well, right? I wasn't going to go negative like that.
No, I'm not going negative.
I would say this though: bombing at the box office is not any indication of the quality of the film. There's many films that bomb and many terrible films that make a lot of money.
So it's kind of like, so the film is, it's like you have to be in on the joke. It's like an in joke to the in joke.
Yeah.
Right. Like
or you have to at least be familiar with the original and understand that kind of humor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So with the original, you just had to be familiar with rock and the zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like that
mid-80s, yeah, exactly.
Right,
rock band on the road,
80s, yeah,
like 83ish, right?
That's right about, I think. Yeah. And so, everybody was aware of the rock scene.
Yeah,
right?
rock and roll bands on the tour and big stage shows and stuff, like the big
Yeah.
demon skull and the thing. And that was, definitely an homage to like Ozzy and Dio and that kind of stuff. And that time,
Oh yeah, and like getting lost under the stage, like all of that stuff, like has its origins in like stuff that actually happened to
70s,
someone,
80s
right?
Metal world and touring world, yeah. And I mean, honestly, even touring musicians who aren't metal, anybody's like a touring musician who's had big stage shows, had crew and stuff like that. That's there's all that.
So getting lost under the stage, I think that's a Twisted Sister like anecdote. I think
Hello
that,
Cleveland and
right.
stuff. That's all.
So Twisted Sister actually got lost under the stage once. Stonehenge is a Black Sabbath thing. Like that, they had the Stonehenge prop.
Didn't
and
Ozzy get mad like, hey, you guys are taking the piss out of us or something like that, or like that kind of, or how they know, or they stole it from us or something? I know there was like some kind of controversy. And,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So I mean, all of that stuff. So like Nigel Tufnell. His character is based on Jeff Beck.
Yeah, this look and stuff. Definitely.
The look, yeah. Totally. And
Jeff Beck, famous guitarist for the Yardbirds, and obviously Jeff Beck Group, and famous
Blow by Blow,
guitar legend in his own right for his solo career and stuff.
Absolutely. And Derek Smalls, like to me, he seems very Geezer Butler-y. He's writing the lyrics. He's obsessed with the dark side.
And that sort of like that sort of archetype, yes. And then David St. Hubbins is like the typical front man, big front man, blonde, that kind of thing. And the rest of the band, who cares? They're just keyboard players and drummers and stuff.
Well, hey, you know what? The drummer, I think Valerie Franco's her
characters.
name.
She called herself Dee Dee in the movie,
she's a studio musician, like working like killer drummer. You know what? Like it's definitely a situation where like the drummer elevated the whole thing.
I think that also musically, there's a lot of respect given to all the guys who wrote the stuff, because those guys are comedians and actors primarily. They're not like musicians, but they're respectable musicians too. Yeah, and that's something one thing that really struck me, and I like because they have a character in the movie who's this like typical corporate douche guy who's like running. He's like the manager of the band, and the conceit in the movie is he doesn't understand or like music in any way, which is so perfect because that's so people in the music industry who are not musicians, who don't give a fuck about music, is like it's such a cliche.
He suggests, I think it would be best if one or maybe two of you actually were to die during the performance to cement your legacy. Yeah, it's hard.
Well, the other thing too is like his complete bafflement that they aren't like having dance routines and stuff like that, and not understanding like how rock music works and stuff. And I think that really struck me, because that's one thing I was thinking a lot when I was watching the movie, was like how this is like a postcard to and from a different era for people who like remember what a rock band is and like what a rock and roll show looks like. It's not like about dance choreography or like
okay. However,
that kind of thing. It's it's more about it's about the songs and the performance and the musicianship. You know what I mean?
Well, but I also don't want to go see a show with people sitting on stools.
No, I agree with that too. But I think that the completely not understanding that you don't have like dance choreography, or we don't have like 6 outfit changes through a show or something like that. That kind of.
There's a fine line between stupid and clever.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I find that interesting, and that's kind of it's insightful too. Like that, generations talking past each other a little bit. Like not understanding this thing, and it's funny now. Like I look at it, and I feel like there's so many generations, and everyone's got their own little piece of the puzzle. Like there's the 70s and 60s people, like the boomers, who are like hanging on still and like their music, and their music is great.
Yep.
Obviously, then there's like the Gen Xers, us, like, which is like a combination of like 80s and 90s kids. So like you and I are more like into the 80s stuff, and we grew up in the 80s. Obviously, like the Stranger Things. Imagine Stranger Things. Like Ryan and I were those kids.
Yep. Yeah. That's it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned that. Like I actually had a conversation with one of my younger students about that.
Yeah, like we were those kids. That was us. We were that age at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's us.
But it's cool that like younger generations love Stranger Things.
Yeah, because it was so much cooler in the 80s.
Right.
But I mean, and then in the 90s, there's like the people who are like maybe like 5 years younger than us, who are like really into like the 90s kind of Creed, Hoobastank. That's I know, but that's their music.
You just said Hoobastank.
I know. I'm just saying
there was a band called
Spin Doctors and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm just saying that there's that group of people. Then there's like the younger millennials who are into like the K-pop stuff, and then the Gen Z. So we got like 6 or 7 different generations, and everybody is not sharing any of the same music. There's this group is into this music, this group's into this kind of music, this group's into this kind of music.
Well, I think like the 70s and 80s stuff, I mean, they've done like there are statistics that show that like that stuff gets streamed more.
Oh no, I agree.
Right. So I mean,
I think that's it. Sorry, but if you consider like you talk to your average like 15-year-old, your average, not the people who we see or guitar lessons, because the people I think are a self-selected sample who are into guitar. Right. So of course they're like 70s and 80s and stuff like that.
Guitar music,
yeah. But if you talk to your average 15-year-old on the street, they would not consider 70s and 80s music their music. That's music that's for them. it's directed towards.
Yeah.
them.
Oh, well, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's something that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying there's not outliers for sure, but I think
I mean, dude, they might not even really be into music.
You're absolutely right, because social media is so much bigger now than like music. I mean, music
They're probably
and movies
into, like,
and TV
Roblox
and video
and
games.
Minecraft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids, is like music, movie, and TVs were like TV was like and going outside and doing things. Were like,
Right.
were like things that we were into. You know what I mean? And you know that's what we were into. Now it's you're right. It's either social media or it's gaming. Like online gaming is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that with any kind of judgment. It's just that's just how they get their entertainment. So.
Yeah, I mean, you don't grow up wanting to become a rock star. You grow up wanting to become a video game designer.
Yeah, TikToker or YouTuber or something like that, or a video game designer. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
or
anyway,
a viral influencer. That's another big. That's what I want to be. You know, when my YouTube channel, like the kid, like the Guitar Center, is like, man, when my punk band gets huge, none of this is going to matter. Man.
My punk band.
Now it's like, hey man, when my YouTube channel blows up, none of this is going to matter. That's it's kind of what's become. You know what I mean? And anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make is when I saw Spinal Tap, I just realized, okay, this is a love letter or like a peon towards like a certain generation who gets and understands that. And I think like I could think why a lot of people probably didn't understand Spinal Tap 2 is because it wasn't directed towards them. If that makes sense. You know?
Well, right, and you'd have to. I mean, being surrounded by other musicians all the time, right?
Yeah,
I
was
just
like, that's so funny. And then
right. Well, I just assume. I mean, like nearly everybody that I work with, or most of the people I know, since they're all involved in music stuff, like we can have whole conversations just quoting Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Like I know if I'm dealing with a colleague in the music industry, like
everybody knows it.
Yeah, I can drop a Spinal Tap reference and they're gonna get it.
Yep, exactly. Well, even stuff like and he's showing Marty DeBerge the pedal board and stuff like that. That's like so in our world, of course. Like there's the wah, there's the overdrive. Because he's got there's this power supply right there. There's all these different delays. There's this MIDI controller.
Yeah, so
it's like
so I guess like two thoughts. So on one hand, I mean, you have to, if you love the first movie, then you'll dig the second movie.
Yeah, there's enough there for you that you would like it, and it's got the same kind of humor. It's got all the same crew. You know what I mean?
Now, if now as a fan of the original film, if your expectation is that you're going to get another moment like this one goes to 11, like I mean, you're not gonna like there isn't like a
twice. It's,
there isn't going to be like a legendary quote. That's not what the movie's for.
Well, I don't know. Man, I guess it probably could happen. I don't know if you could have a legendary, I guess it'd have to go viral. But the thing that sucks about going viral these days, dude, is like it's only like so short lived. Like something will be viral for like a month and then it goes away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It could be the biggest thing in the world. The stuff like this goes to 11's been huge for 40 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know that you could even have something like that anymore. You know what I mean? It's
I mean, you're perhaps right.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it feels like an unreasonable expectation that it's going to be something that's life-changing quote on this thing. It's going to be, man, this is going to change everything,
Yeah.
I think what was cool though is I think seeing the musicianship and seeing I think for average people who aren't musicians, and I think that because this is really aimed at musicians, there's a lot of rehearsal footage, a lot of jamming, talking about I went the C major 7 to the B flat.
Totally.
I heard that. And I was even saying that like, hey, that major 7 chord going to that other chord, it sounded strange, and then they talked to the call. I'm like, yeah, I heard the C major 7.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too.
Yeah.
So there's some meat on the bone there. If you're, I mean, look, you're going to enjoy it the most if you're a musician, particularly if you're a guitar player, I think, but.
Yep. There's a scene where they're with Paul McCartney and they're talking about songwriting, and there's a section where it's in 4, then it goes to 6/8, and then they're talking about that transition going to that bridge, and is that major 7 to the B flat? Is that the right chord change? And that's like something the musicians we have those conversations all the time. That's how it is. So
it's easy to take that moment for granted.
If you're not a musician, though, I always wonder does that do you just zone out, no idea what's happening?
Yeah, how does that land, right?
But first, yeah, totally. I thought that 6/8 was a shocking change, and it should go. And then they're talking about it in the movie, just like we would talk about it.
Yeah.
It's so cool. You know what I mean?
So on one hand, it's clearly targeted at on one hand it's mostly targeted at a small audience, right?
Yeah,
so of course it's not going to have a big box office.
Fans of the original and
right. But it also got me thinking conversely, just how widespread and popular the guitar still is.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it is undoubtedly probably the most popular musical instrument
for good reason, because it is scientifically proven to be the best musical instrument.
I mean, all the peer-reviewed studies I've looked at,
that's correct.
Tell me that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
that's true. And then if they don't, I just find the institutions that do a agree with me, and I look at their studies and I say,
Right. Well, that's the American way.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
so whatever studies can really reinforce my pre-existing thoughts. That's
Yes.
the ones I pay most attention to.
well, I mean, they're teaching confirmation bias in elementary school now.
That's what I've been told from all the studies I've looked at.
That's exactly.
That I've curated to make sure that I feel good about myself when I see it.
That's right. So that moment, now for a general audience, like Paul McCartney's in it, so that makes it kind of instantly accessible.
Yeah, and Elton John.
At first
Lars Ulrich makes an appearance. And
and Chad Smith. I love how Questlove's just like,
I just don't want to die.
I just don't want to die. They're trying to get a drummer, right?
I know. It's so
and
funny.
what was his first thing? He's like, yeah, I think I have a colonoscopy. They just has to flat out admit, look, I don't want to die.
Well, I think what's so interesting to me that too is that's a good point, because they'll put like those. I mean, I think for those big stars like Paul McCartney and Elton John and Questlove and all those guys Chad Smith, all those guys who did it, it's just like, I'm in freaking Spinal Tap. This is the coolest thing ever.
Fuck yeah! And I love how there's like this implied this implied beef between like Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Lars Ulrich from Metallica.
Also the beef between like Paul McCartney and David St. Hubbins.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So everyone's like super nice when they're in person, and then they all talk shit later on. Like that's hilarious.
I love it too. It's like, I mean, but there's so much. If you're a musician, there's so much to be taken from it, I think. And if you're not a musician and you're interested in the world of musicians and writing bands and writing songs, or if you have an interest, it's cool. I mean, it's not really literally happening, but it's very much like something that would happen. You can tell this is sort of like an outline of this is something that is plausible, and we're just going to kind of riff in this area with using our improvisational skills. And,
that rehearsal studio that they were in was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I want that to be my entire house.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was sick.
I just thought that was cool. There's a lot of real musicianship going on, and there's all that. I think even the first Spinal Tap, that was more like the band on the road thing. If you're like you're not on the road, if you're just rehearsing and writing songs, recording, this movie's more for that sort of thing, because it's really just the one show they're getting prepped for.
And I distinctly remember like the first Spinal Tap movie. Like Nigel's solos just kind of sucked, right? And then I remember when they released "Break Like the Wind,"
and they were good.
So I remember thinking that they had like the concert video, right? So so when I shared,
and they did play at all those places, like they talked about in the movie, Glastonbury.
Yeah, those were
the actual gigs that Spinal Tap played. Yeah.
Well, and then the last scene, it has when they're descending down from the ceiling onto the stage.
Yeah, Royal Albert Hall, right?
But they get Royal Albert Hall. They all get stuck like 3 feet above the stage, so they have to get clipped down with wire cutters.
Yeah.
Right, and by the time they get down to the stage, the song's over.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all the real gigs that actually happen with those actors as those people.
So I distinctly remember by the time they released that video, thinking like it was a little bit less funny, because Christopher Guest, the guy who plays Nigel, who's Jamie Lee Curtis's husband.
Yep.
Like his chops improved vastly in the decade between the original film and Spinal Tap
Satriani, if I'm not mistaken.
I saw Satriani's on the special thanks.
Yeah. So I think he actually took guitar lessons from. I think Christopher Guest and. Oh my God, the guy who plays David St. Hubbins. How am I spacing on his
Michael
name?
McKean.
Michael McKean. Great, amazing comedic actor for all kinds of decades.
Absolutely.
I think those guys both studied with Satch and like really learned to play.
That's so
cool.
what
I mean? And I think that you can tell, because like there's some real musicianship going down. And,
Absolutely.
And, I mean, there's especially, I hadn't heard Stonehenge in a while, and I was just listening to some of that stuff. And I was like, wow, this is very prog. This is kind of like Yes meets, like Sabbath kind of, it's like somewhere in between there. It had this like cool interplay and stuff. There's like all these different changes, and they had like the orchestration. I thought that was really cool. But I think it's cool. It just strikes me as something that's like gonna talk past. If I can imagine talking to my 15-year-old and trying to show him this movie and him not understanding any of the, because it's not his world. There's nothing about it that's familiar. He doesn't know about rock bands on the road. He doesn't understand.
Right. He's never played a gig where something went comically wrong,
or a gig period. And then what a gig to him means is a guy who's standing on stage with a pair of headphones and a DJ platform. That's what a gig is. You know what I mean? So the idea of like dudes on stage,
nauseous.
and I think that's a thing that I'm having a hard time getting my head around too, is that like to us, like of course that's what a show is like a rock band, you know what I mean? But then if I see like Spinal Tap, what we just saw in the movie, this bunch of elderly men playing this music that doesn't mean anything to me, I can imagine like a 15-year-old not understanding any of it and not thinking how anything that has anything to do with them.
I mean,
you know
to be fair, like 15-year-olds don't understand most things. I mean, that's really a defining character.
Well, there is that.
That's a defining characteristic.
You know what though? I think
15.
back when you and I were 15, though, like we understood what it was to rock and to shred, dude.
I did,
you know
but there was a lot of other shit I definitely did not. I mean, I'm glad my brain made it through that part of my life.
Yeah, I understood football and baseball and martial arts, and I understood that rock and roll was awesome. And,
I distinctly remember.
I did understand philosophy and Greek mythology back then, too.
I remember 15 and 16 were drastically different years.
I mean, one's 15 and one's 16.
Well, yeah,
so
right.
Objectively, it seems
16's one louder.
Yeah, it's one more, isn't it?
In it. So anyway.
You know, I also, if I'm not mistaken, I would think my 15th and 16 years were also different.
Right. Well, again, mine were drastically different. So, you know, the brain developed a lot in that 1 year. So.
Oh my God, I'm so waiting for that to happen to Jack Black.
Yeah. Who I'm sorry to
who
say,
I love, but yeah.
Well, I have it on good authority that he's a creep.
Is that right? Really?
Yeah.
That's
it bums
so
me
heartbreaking.
Out. It
no.
really is. It bums me out. But I happen to know I have it on good authority that.
But this is not gonna be an apology issue next week.
No, fuck no, dude.
Okay.
Well, and you know what, dude? You know what? Jack Black popularized School of Rock, so fuck him. Dude,
there is that. That is a damnable offense. I'll give you that,
So apparently,
where you can take your children to not learn. That's a place. There's one of the many places, but that's one of the places you can take your children.
So
to
I
not
can't
learn.
say how I know, but I know he's behaved in some unsavory ways.
Wow, it's unfortunate, man.
Yeah,
he's brought a lot of people a lot of joy. He's been,
Well, but he also popularized School of Rock, and
that's true.
That's taking money out of the pockets of musicians. So
well, yeah,
that's
just a long-standing tradition.
I did like the original Tenacious D clips that ran on HBO. They are funny.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gifted comedian and actor, no doubt about it. So I'm sorry to hear he's a creep. That sucks, man.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah. So hopefully we don't get sued. But.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, I don't know anything about it. I'm justifying myself. The whole thing. This is all hearsay.
Just
I don't
speculation.
know.
Yep.
Don't know anything about any of this. You know what I mean?
So anyway, you know what
Our bigger point though is that 15-year-olds don't know much. One of the many things they don't understand is what a rock band is. You know what I mean?
So to that end, right? As much as I am dismayed about the infantilization of entertainment,
yes,
of cute aliens in my fucking Predator movie, right?
Delightful, by the way. Makes it so much a better thing. Oh my god.
Okay, I don't want. No, delightful is not a word that's not a descriptor that should be used in relation to the Predator franchise
that's
or
so
the Alien
delightful
franchise.
the way he ripped the spinal column out of the body cavity. Aw, look at that. Who's a good boy?
That would be cool.
Boy.
Yeah, just scratch the Predator behind the mandible.
Exactly.
Right?
Aw.
So I appreciate how Spinal Tap. I mean, it wasn't compromised.
No, it was not any kind of. It wasn't leaning over trying to say, "Hey, look at me, I'm hip." I'm the
I don't think there were any children in the movie, so that was a bonus, right?
But I think that there was no overt "Hey, we're trying to be current. We're going to try and be." Other than they had the one little nod to the douchebag corporate guy who was trying to bring in all the partners, the corporate partners and stuff like that, and that kind of thing.
Oh, like with the IHOP thing, yeah.
You know what I mean? That, but that's so classic, and that was
right.
Not
I mean, that's not. I don't think that's an artistic vision compromise.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that the only thing that I could say was any kind of thing that they even kind of made mention of the modern way that music is working is that sort of stuff. It was more the behind the scenes business stuff was the only thing they kind of did there.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that very much. And I don't know. I love it. It makes me wonder though. I mean, just wondering is it just us, our generation and older, just talking to each other and just kind of? I guess that's kind of what it is. It's like a little warm blanket. Hey, this is so cool. Remember these guys? You know what I mean?
I mean, I definitely wish they had done more earlier, right? Like when they did the Spinal Tap Returns in 91 or 92 or whenever it was.
Yeah, and they're still pretty young. They could have
they released Break Like the Wind. I was kind of hoping we would have got more, or I was hoping we would have got Spinal Tap 2 then, not just a concert, which was great.
Yeah, no, it was very enjoyable. Spinal Tap 2 was very enjoyable,
and we did get the Amp Capo.
Yep, exactly. Okay, Amp Capo. We got to talk about that for a second.
Oh wait, okay. Now I remember what I was gonna. Okay, so he did the Amp Capo thing again it's a clip for like Berkeley
College of Music.
College of Music. Yeah, I'll find that because they're basically he talks about like not like wanting to learn music theory or something and how it's related to
exactly
capo.
that's what
So it's hilarious. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about capo. We'll go to the amp capo. This is just like a little aside for people who don't know what a capo is. Capo is a device you put on the neck of your guitar that allows you to basically move the nut of the guitar up or down. So you can change the key by just moving the two different frets. I.e., what it allows people to do is to know like 6 chords and play in any key they want by just moving the capo up and down.
You can use all your open chord finger groupings.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have G, D, A minor, C, E minor, those chords, you can just play it anywhere. And then I've actually seen charts, and this drives me up a wall. It makes me absolutely crazy. Where it's like G, D, E minor, C, capo at the 7th fret. You know, that kind of thing. And it's like
no, it's now no longer those chords.
Yeah, that's not what you're playing. You know what I mean? But you don't know that because you don't know anything. You don't know what music is, and that's the problem with the capo. The capo is like you could like use a capo and not know goddamn thing about anything.
Yep, we have a whole episode where we take down the capo.
Yeah, it needs more, man. I need to like piss on the ashes.
Well,
of the capo
it's a crutch that I mean
for hacks.
If you're trying to develop as a guitar player, it could stunt your growth.
Yes, exactly right.
It's an unhelpful shortcut. Now, if you're a fully developed guitar player and know what you're doing, then you could use a capo to
change voicings, which is what it should be used for. Because it's like drop D tuning. Drop D tuning is a valuable tool if you know what you're doing.
Yep.
If you don't, you just means you suck and you just move your finger around all over the place like do 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 do, and you don't even know anything. And so it's like Ty Tabor showed us how you do it right.
Yes.
Eddie Van Halen showed us how you do it right. Warren DeMartini showed us how we do it right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But then there's all the grunge bands who just didn't know jack squat and they just use it as a giant crutch. I remember for so many years, whenever I would hand a guitar to somebody, like I'm gonna play you a song, and then they'd put in drop D, I just would instantly, oh, thank you. Now I know I don't have to take you seriously musically anymore.
I encountered that
and
lot.
capo is the same thing. Like I'm gonna play you a song. When you find my capo, I'm like, why do you need the capo? It's like, don't you know how to play the song? Like
so Nigel is also an inventor.
Yes, and so he came up with the amp capo because he actually made exactly a great point. Because if you put a capo, then now the entire part of the neck, the capo is off. You can't use that part of the neck anymore.
Right.
So you can't play solos or melodies. You're basically taking a third or 2/3 of the neck away for useful stuff.
So I love how the total absurdity. Like there's still that little insight there in the joke.
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to put it on the amp so I can actually still use my guitar like a real person, but I'm just going to move it on the amp and it's going to change the key for me.
So I invite our entire listenership to go on YouTube and just search amp capo.
Oh my God, I have one student.
It's so worth it. And it makes an appearance in the movie.
It does.
Which I love.
In the background, and they don't bring any kind of attention to it. It's just in the background. Right?
And I missed that detail on the first viewing. So this is the second time I've seen the film. So I'm on my second viewing. Yeah.
I was so grateful I watched it, man. That's so cool.
Totally.
But I mean, the capo thing, we've talked about this before, and I got one of my students, I swear to God, and I love this kid, but it's like, he's like, oh, we're going to play this song, and it's in drop D. I'm like, I don't care that it's in drop D. I don't care that it's a capo with whatever fret. We're going to learn to play without a capo, because then you can grab any guitar and play that song. You know what I mean? If you have a capo, then you can only play if you have a capo, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's well-treaded territory, but God, I hate him so much. I hate him.
Tell us how you really feel, Scott.
I hate him so. Drop D and capos, and I'm going to put it in C standard. Or you can just learn to play. Why do you need to put it in C standard?
I just pitch it like we have to have a common frame of reference.
Yeah.
In order to learn.
I'm always like, or just learn to play. You can just learn to play. You don't have to be a hack like everyone else. You can actually be a good musician. Like, we're going to do that. We're going to take that crazy, bold move, and we're going to actually know how to freaking play.
So the amp capo.
Yes.
It's a solution.
Is it better than a regular capo? Yes.
Yes.
Is it still unnecessary? Certainly. Thanks for listening to the Rock Guitar Confidential Podcast with Ryan and Scott. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Now back to the show.
But it doesn't hurt.
I'll never forget Jennifer Batten did a clinic.
Capo doesn't hurt.
When I was in music school, Jennifer Batten, famous guitarist with Michael Jackson and Jeff Beck, amazing 8-finger player, just incredible. And I remember she made a joke at one of her clinics she did when I was in music school, and I was like, yes, so smart. She's like, she had a string dampener because she does a lot of multi-finger tapping, and with a heavy distorted sound, which is hard to do. Like
so a string dampener, imagine like a hair tie kind of thing that just like mutes all the strings.
Yeah, but you could flick it on or off the thing. thing, and she was
So
explaining.
that's like the one that like Michelangelo Badio used.
Well, you notice a lot of people like Yvette Young, like people who are like multi-finger tapping people now, they play with like a clean sound. They don't play with a big distorted sound.
Yeah.
Well, Jennifer played with a full-on like shredding metal sound, and so she needed the dampener. And that's what I do when I do A-finger tapping too.
Yep.
So I kind of of that Jennifer Batten school. I learned to play A-finger tapping at the foot of Jennifer Batten, who was played with Michael Jackson and Jeff Beck and all these people. But anyway, she made a joke during that. It's like, people ask, is that a capo? And I said, and she goes, I'll never forget this. She goes, no, I'm not a sissy. I can transpose. I was like,
nice.
Exactly. Fuck those guys. You know what I mean?
Transpose means change keys, folks.
Exactly. Well, the capo, you can transpose and not know anything. You think you're playing G, but you're, they're playing at G at the 8th fret or something, but that's not G anymore. Kiddos, just so you know.
So I don't recall seeing too many other capos in the film, just the amp capo.
I'm sorry.
So that's a benefit to Spinal
it's like
Tap
a poison I've got to get out. I got to get that bitterness, that vitriol out towards
So just know, listeners, that if you watch Spinal Tap 2, the only capo with which you'll be confronted is the amp capo. So that's another, point.
And only one more capo to take away, and then we'll be much better as a society. That's all I would say.
So I will say it is, it's bittersweet seeing Rob Reiner.
Oh my God, yeah, I thought about that too. And there's so many references, especially with the drummer, of like untimely deaths and like tragic deaths and stuff, and that really hits different knowing.
Well, especially the part when he's in David St. Hubbain's like basement recording studio, right, where he's got all the like old gear and stuff, and like using none of it.
Yeah, he's got
because he has a laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
Where he records his on hold music.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought he got a Holdy award. But he also recorded music for like a murder podcast.
Yeah, and
Rob
people
Reiner's
dying in like weird circumstances.
And Rob Reiner's like, people love murder.
Yeah, I was like,
that was weird and kind of, that moment got a little fucked.
Well, I mean, who could have ever, and he could never have imagined, okay, in a matter of months, I'm going to be killed tragically with my own kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that just wasn't on my bingo card at all.
No.
Especially
because it came out and then just a few months later he was dead. It's like, it's weird how that happened. It reminds me of Ozzy in a way, but way more tragic.
But Ozzy didn't get murdered.
You could see that coming with Ozzy. But he had this last concert, then like a couple days later he was dead, right?
Well, like Ozzy was suffering disease. I mean, Rob Reiner was still vital.
I know. I'm just saying that kind of feeling of like, holy shit, that he just did something huge just recently. I just saw him like on doing all these press tours and stuff, like just in the last couple months.
So Spinal Tap also doesn't avoid the mortality part, like the jokes about like you cement your legacy if like one or two of you would die.
Exactly right.
So
those are older guys in their like mid 70s. It's
right.
So
well, I mean, Reiner was like 80 or 81 or something like that.
I think he was like 78 or something. I don't think he was. I don't know. I don't think he was quite that old. But I mean, we're splitting hairs from like a couple years difference.
So he was. So he was older.
Yes.
Right.
But still very smart, very funny, very vital,
Yeah. And so so figure they must have been like taping. They must have been shooting.
Yeah.
The last couple of years or so. Right. I remember seeing like the Michael McKean in the mariachi outfit.
Yeah.
So that was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
And I remember seeing like little clips and stuff too, like these little bits of the movie and stuff, like the cheese shop scene and like standing there, kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I think it is kind of wild to see that, now knowing what we know. Like if we'd seen that before Rob Reiner had gotten murdered, we probably would have. It would have hit
different.
Yeah, knowing what happens is like, oh my God, that's almost uncomfortable.
Yeah,
we're talking about this. You know what I mean?
And then just seeing Rob Reiner in the film, just at all, it's bittersweet. It's a little tough, right?
Yeah,
I'm glad he got to make the movie and we get to enjoy it, right? Yeah, I'm sure he'd, if he still existed, he would want us to enjoy
the last movie he made, I imagine, right? I mean,
maybe. I mean, people, they have things in the works, and who knows?
But the last movie finished and completed and released. I think I don't know if there's any other Rob Reiner movies in the can.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, not that I would be an authority, but I don't know. So anyway, so just like that tragedy, still, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, the whole thing about it's sad. There's nothing not horrible and sad about the whole situation. You know what I mean?
But since the movie doesn't, with or without the tragedy of Rob Reiner's death, the movie doesn't shy away from mortality.
Well, it's also heavy metal. I mean, oh my God, of course, it's talking about, death, and that's just part of the deal. You know what I mean?
Yes. Especially in songs like Hell to Pay, which, like, Derek Smalls really, like, I think Harry Shearer's character, Derek Smalls, really, like, shined in this one. Like, his moments are pretty great.
It's pretty funny. I know.
Like running the glue emporium.
Yeah,
or
he's the thing stuck in his nose. It's so funny.
Or then like he hits on the drummer, and then then her girlfriend shows up.
Yeah, exactly. There's a funny thing they did in an interview after that. I talked about this before we started recording, but like that, because one of the conceits at the end of the movie is that David St. Hubbins thinks that Nigel had slept with his wife or whatever, and he hadn't. And then in the movie, while Marty DeBurghe's interviewing Derek Smalls, he admits that he slept with David's wife,
who then becomes a nun.
Yeah, exactly. Set her straight.
So basically, by the end of the film, now it makes sense why she went and became a nun.
Yeah,
she hooked up with the bass players. Yeah,
but that's the funny thing, because then in an interview they did after the movie came out, like there was some interview for Rolling Stone was interviewing Michael McKean, and as David St. Hubbins, and it's like, well, what do you think of the revelation that Derek Smalls slept with your wife? He's like, well, he's the bass player, so it doesn't count. He's like, this complete. He wouldn't talk to Nigel at all, but who cares? This is the bass player.
This is the bass player. Who cares?
It's like, that's exactly right.
That is so true.
Whenever someone looks at me like, why do you have such a thing with bass? Like, that's why, because the bass doesn't matter. That's why. Bassist is the most irrelevant member of the band.
Oh, man. And boy, you're going to have to issue another apology.
Well, I teach bass. Part of my livelihood is bass, and I try and make a world where there's fantastic bass players.
My accountant friend,
is he mad? Is he going to organize bassists with
his kid's a bass player?
Oh no!
So you're just
what kind of choices is this guy making? I'm an accountant. I'm gonna have my son play bass. Oh my God!
I'm just making it worse
rethink your choices, my friend. Oh my God!
Making it worse now.
There are other things you could do. Well, for instance, there's electric guitar. You could play electric guitar.
He does.
That's
play
also a choice.
Guitar.
Okay, good.
He's my student too.
If you're a bassist, you should always have some degree of shame that you play bass. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not proud that I play bass.
Damn. First the capo, now
someone
the bass.
has to do it.
Are you okay, Scott?
It's just
I thought I was supposed to be like the edgy, murdery one on our podcast, but this is like the dark side of Scott this week, folks.
No,
you've turned into like Scott Vader. What is this?
No, it's just that bass doesn't matter.
Pretty soon you're going to be watching horror movies.
That's probably not going to happen, my friend.
You're going to be not watching
the only horror movies I will watch
theater.
are going to be ones that have delightful alien characters who befriend everybody and show them how everything could be better if they just had the power of friendship in the way. That's the kind of horror movies I'd be on. Or like Jason Voorhees is ready to chainsaw the camp person, and then someone's like, "Hey, dude, and then what if we all just were cool with each other?"
Jason Voorhees, he wouldn't be chainsawing. Well, I mean, I guess he could. He could murder you with what the machete.
Machete is his signature.
The machete is his choice. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Speaking of chainsaws,
that is kind of Leatherface's territory. I feel bad now.
There is a great documentary on Shudder Channel, which is an AMC thing. It's called.
It's like the horror movie streaming channel, right? Yeah.
So yeah,
shocking that you would know about this, Ryan.
Well, I'm a subscriber to the Shudder Channel. I know.
Why would you do that?
Right. So there's a great documentary about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre called Chain Reactions.
1, 2, 3.
That's really good, man. Yeah. So Patton Oswalt's on it.
Does he have a connection to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well, he talks about it.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like film analysis. It's like a film analysis kind of documentary.
So it's like really good. It's like a PBS special about horror movies,
about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, I recommend everybody watch it. Yeah. So.
I'm not surprised. That's
okay. Cool. So I'm steering us back towards mortality.
Okay.
All the more reason it's like you can tell like when they're playing Cups and Cakes with Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And when they're playing they did which songs did they do with Elton John? They did Stonehenge at the show.
And the Flower People.
Yeah, listen to the Flower People with Elton John. Like you can just tell like how like stoked Michael McKean is
to play with those guys.
Particular, yeah.
Even though they did the whole thing where he's trying to tell them they shouldn't go to that bridge in 6/8. I think that was so cool.
Oh, well, okay. Well, yeah, that's
in character, like arguing with Paul McCartney. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, so that and we'll put a pin in that for a sec. But it's just so cool to see the satisfaction that like, hey, our songs, like Big Bottom is getting sung by Elton John, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It is so cool.
Right?
I mean, well,
So that everyone gets to they all get to have that moment.
And it's actually not BS
it.
too. Like when they're interviewing like Lars Ulrich and like Chad Smith and stuff like that. When they're saying you're legends, they are legends. Like Spinal Tap's a legendary movie. Everybody knows about Spinal Tap. Even if like they don't seen the movie, they know what it is or they know the quotes from the movie. That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Definitely okay, that's a good point. You know, the quote like this one goes to 11. Like that has transcended.
None more black. Fine line between clever and stupid. You know, that kind of thing.
Right, but goes to 11 in particular. Like you'll hear people say that.
Yeah.
That
who don't
know where it came from. Yeah. So it's
not even connecting to an amplifier or anything like that.
Yeah. It just go. Yeah, we're gonna go to 11. Like that has gone. That's transcended the culture. Yeah. It's crossed over.
Yeah, and even people who don't even know what it is or what it is referring to. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's exactly right. So
nobody knows who they were or what they were doing.
Their memory remains hinged to the living rock of stamina. So but yeah, I like it when they're with the whole 6/8 thing, like how David's like a willing collaborator.
I know he's like, well,
until Paul McCartney agrees with Nigel.
I'll take it under advisement.
Right, and then like that's the end right.
And then McCartney's bitter about it. He's like, yeah, well, you know, whatever. I don't give a shit. It's like, it's so cool.
You know, so yeah, like, you know.
You could argue there's nobody who's more like, almost like a mythological character in the world than Paul McCartney. The fact that he just walking around like Paul McCartney got Starbucks today, you know, it's like weird that he exists, like he's a human. You know what I mean?
I did, but you know, he definitely seemed like I could see myself sitting in that group, like working on a song with, like if Paul McCartney walked in here and wanted to work on a song with us, I feel like he'd be a cool guy,
legendary on the level that very few humans have ever been famous and legendary,
or ever will be again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's crazy. Even Elton John is not quite at Paul McCartney's level. I don't think.
Well, Paul McCartney's like at the root of the tree.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's I think seminal guy.
Fast forward 40 years, Taylor Swift's going to be that for this generation. I think she's going to be like, oh my God, Taylor Swift came in. It's going to be, you know, I have a feeling that's going to be the case. Not that I'm comparing them necessarily skill wise, but I think fame and impact wise. You know what I mean?
So you think? So is Taylor Swift bigger than the Beatles?
She's as big as the Beatles were at their height now. I would say. I would think she's as big as the Beatles were at their height. You know?
Yeah, and you have to factor in like the world population is quite a bit larger too.
Yeah, and you also have to consider there's more distractions, more things grabbing in your eyes and your ears for your attention now than there's ever been. So if you consider back in the day when the Beatles was the biggest thing, there was like 4 things that could possibly have your attention. Now it's like 40,000 things. You know what I mean?
Certainly, though, like if Paul McCartney came in and wanted to like help write the song, I'd be like, okay, that's a prolific, serious like the well is deep with Paul.
Yeah. I mean, he's got like pelts on the wall.
I mean, Taylor Swift can write a song, right? But she's a 1-5-6-4 chord progression person. You know,
variations on. You know
what I mean? But like Paul's gonna like take you in some like really.
Oh yeah, I'm not anyway talking about.
I'm
not talking about the musical skills. Like clearly, McCartney is like a different level than Taylor Swift. But I'm talking about like impact culturally. Yeah. Because if you if someone from the '60s saw Paul McCartney walk into a room, they would just lose their minds. Like, oh my God, this is, you know, you and I would also be excited. Like, holy shit, that's Paul McCartney. But like, that's not our music. We didn't grow up on that. You know what I mean? But like someone fast forward like 30, 40 years from now. Somebody who's like 14 now saw Taylor Swift like 40 years from now. They're like, oh my God, that's Taylor Swift. You know, it would be like that same sort of holy crap. Yeah, this is like a mythological.
Certainly person, for the young women of a certain couple of generations. Yes, you know what I mean.
Which is crazy thinking that Taylor Swift's like 34 and there's already like 2 generations of women.
Which fuck man, I wish they could have got her on Spinal Tap. Oh, there was also a Garth Brooks moment. Garth Brooks singing "Big Bottom" with Trisha Yearwood.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And I think that video was for real too. I think that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, well, I guess they're married, so she says, talk about mud flaps. I've sure got him or something.
I've got it, exactly. And see, as much as I decry the horrible effects of the Garth apocalypse, like Garth himself, I'm fine with, man. You know, I
to me, he's always gonna be Chris Gaines.
I just firmly believe that new country is a cultural poison.
Oh my God,
hey, whatever.
Well, you know, I'm not here to like stump for new country, but at least they play guitars and basses and pianos and that.
I know we've debated this.
So
yes,
I like that better than some guy standing in front of a DJ thing and going, yeah, you know what I mean? That to me, that's
wait, how does that go again?
Yeah, he's got like this. Like, you guys see, this is not a visual medium. I'm grabbing my headphones, going, push this button, yeah. Like, oh man, we got to go to this club to see DJ Mike, whatever the hell his name is, because he pushes the button and stands there and rocks his head back and forth.
Yeah, I don't really care about the DJing part so much, but man, I used to really love dance clubs when I was young.
Yeah, I know. So, you and I will diverge on that one. The only time I've ever been in clubs and willingly is when I was playing at them. That's
really.
Just,
dude, like you missed out, man. There was a lot of fun to be had.
I happily missed out, and I'm glad you had a good time.
There was a lot.
This is one of those things where it's like, it's not for me. That's one of those things that's not for me.
Very good time.
Much like horror movies are not for me, dance clubs are not for me.
I love Pet Shop Boys.
I like that music too. I think that music's cool. that's just not my gig, man.
So it would have been great if they could have secured Taylor Swift for a cameo.
You know what? Honestly,
that would have been fucking great.
I've been workshopping this for a while. I haven't talked to you about it before, but like I would also like to have Taylor Swift on the podcast.
Yes, me too.
I feel like that would be good.
All right, well, so
for
like,
everybody.
I mean, you've been working on that, right?
I've been reaching out. You know,
yeah, just she's busy.
When I say reaching out, I've been putting in postcards on cars and parking lots.
Yeah,
that's how I've been going about reaching out. So I'm hoping at some point it'll work.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Taylor's people, and she'll get a hold of us. I think that's how it works.
I set up camp in that shrub, like about a mile away from her property, and I set up the binoculars and stuff.
I put like these little flyers, all the like light posts within like really all of Carmichael and Cedar Heights, and I think that'll work its way to her. I think that's enough to she'll find a way. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a resourceful woman, so she'll do it. You know.
Yeah, I set up like a mannequin outside the gates of her estate, like that just said
which estate. There's like so
that
many,
just says this is you on Rock Guitar Confidential with Scott and Ryan, because I figured that would deliver the message.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But I haven't heard anything back.
We've not heard anything, which is kind of surprising, and a little bit heartbreaking.
It's bizarre.
It seems like that's the kind of thing that would have worked. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, maybe she's got the wedding that she's got to think about. That's probably the main reason why. I'm sure she's talking to her people.
So she's gonna go ruin her life by getting married.
She's sitting there talking to her people, saying, "No, I would really love to go." I don't know how she talks on this Rock Guitar Confidential podcast, but I got this wedding to do.
Swift. I would really love to be on Rock Guitar Confidential.
She probably has like a death bell, like I like to do.
Oh, there is a cool TikTok video of.
Wait, is there a cool TikTok video?
It's an Instagram thing where like it's Taylor Swift, but like at one of her live performances, right? Like kicking off a triumphant like fist in the air.
Yeah.
But the music's death metal. It's fucking awesome. And like the flash pots on stage go off and stuff, but it's death metal.
I saw that video.
It's fucking great.
Are you too short? Where a dude took like this woman having some kind of meltdown, just screaming and stuff, and then they wrote like a death metal song and made that as the vocal track.
I love it.
It was like, oh, dude, I
love it.
See, that's the internet doing good things for the world, right there. Like that's
it's not all bad.
Taking this horrible thing and making something hilarious out of it. You
it's
know what
not
I mean?
all bad.
It's so funny. It's like the guy who does like the YouTube things and they click the comments and makes that the lyrics of his metal song, and it's all the lyrics are the comments.
Nice.
It's actually really funny.
That is awesome.
I appreciate that kind of thing. See that there's what's funny about this world, like those shorts, like the TikTok, YouTube shorts kind of
the
thing.
short attention span,
Instagram videos, that kind of thing. Is that like there is some really clever stuff going on out there too. The intermits with all the nonsense. They're actually, I'll give some props to the kids, to the youths. There's some pretty funny stuff going on there.
Yep, there's some hope.
There is, yeah.
But again, I figure I've got like another good 20 years left. So I've upped it.
We've got this like on the podcast. You've mentioned 10 years before, so I feel like that because all the health changes.
20, like maybe 15,
you're now
20.
thinking you're pushing 20. And that's great. That's good to hear because you were saying like 10. You got maybe 10 years left.
Yeah,
right?
well, I mean, let it never be said that I'm not like a pragmatist.
Okay, but you think 20 years is like it's on the table? What you're saying?
It's a possibility.
Even 2 years ago, I know that was not your mindset. So that is real progress.
Well, thank you.
We're really good at that, and I want you here as long as possible.
I appreciate that.
That's really, really big. And okay, bass players, don't get mad at me. I think bass is valuable if you're a good musician. Bass can be an amazing part of a band. It's just, in my experience, it's not the best musicians to become bass players. That's not my experience.
God, you were so close. You almost.
I'm just saying, in my experience, it's
almost.
But there's value. There's value. I play bass myself. I teach bass myself. I have played bass on several X Ages and several Scott Allen Project albums. I've played some of the bass parts.
Same. In fact,
Brian King does almost all the bass
plays
on the Scott Allen Project stuff, but I played a few bass parts on that. So I myself am guilty of being a bass. It sounds bad to say it that way. being a bass player. Yes, and teaching bass and
you're a bass player when you have to.
Exactly, but like, I didn't start out being a musician aspiring to play the bass.
It's okay if I make. I gave a bass lesson like 2 weeks ago.
Are you okay, man?
I'm okay.
Were you able to like get your identity back quick enough, like to really kind of reconfigure yourself? Like, oh my god, like
yeah, no, it was good.
What does it say about me that like making this, letting this happen? You know what I mean?
Just, I was accommodating a request from, and then my student went back to guitar the next week. So.
Good. Oh god.
Right. Yeah. So we're all good. Yeah, and like guitar.
Crisis averted. Oh my god.
Guitar without capo.
Okay, good.
Like capo free guitar.
I can't tell you how much I'll like blow people's minds when I give them that speech. They go, "Oh, I got my capo." I'm like, "We will not need your capo."
So I think like for Halloween, I'm just gonna like on your doorstep, I'm gonna leave like a bass with a capo on.
Oh.
Just capo bass.
Yes, that's true. That would be my nightmare writ large right there in the world. You know,
and you know what? I'm gonna put the capo like on the 12th fret.
Okay, because it's ironic. Why would you do that?
Right. So you'll still be in standard.
Or even
tuning,
better when it's on the first fret. Like, why the fuck we put it on the first fret? Why does it matter? Are you telling me your vocal range is that sensitive? You can't handle 1/2 step difference? What the hell are we doing?
So there it is.
So anyway, sorry.
Capo bass.
Yeah. Oh God. Why? I mean, in my experience with most bass players, I just tell them go to 4 and then go to 2. That's like, there's not even like, I can't even tell them, we're going to C sharp and then B. They don't know those things. They don't know what that means. You know what I mean? And so it's like, so anyway, sorry guys. I'm just
that's
like,
okay.
I'm letting that.
We'll prepare the apology for next week.
I genuinely am trying to be a sunny, bright spot in the world, but there are things.
I feel like we're having like an identity crisis here. You're like Dark Scott this week, and I'm like, Pollyanna Ryan. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh my God.
So
well, I did appreciate the bonnet. I thought that was an interesting choice stylistically, but now it's making sense because you're trying to bring the Pollyanna thing. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I thought the scythe and the dark robes was going to go great. I didn't realize I was making that kind of statement.
Well, I mean, a scythe and dark robes go well with everything.
That's true. It's kind of the little black dress of the rock and roll world.
Yes, like the Druids.
Yes, exactly.
What would they say to us if we were here now?
Well, who's to say? Because nobody knows who they were or what they were doing.
Right.
So
exactly.
there's nobody. But their legacy is hewn into the written rock.
Humed to the living rock.
Yeah, so that's the only way. And the living rock is the way I live my life. I'm living rock. That's what it's all about. You know
yes, that's exactly right. So,
exactly.
So Spinal Tap 2. So I'll give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. I give
definitely
out of 5 stars. I give it like 4 out of 5. I would say it's really solid. You know?
And I will say, and again, I will say, Valerie Franco, the drummer, like she really enhanced the film. Like so, seeing like
she was great.
I think Tonight We're Gonna Rock You Tonight has never received a more spirited performance. It was so perfect.
Yeah, I love that sentiment too. Tonight we're gonna rock you tonight.
Yep,
I love that. So
tonight we're gonna rock you tonight. It's the best show opener ever.
It's so profound. It's as profound now as it was when it came out, and I think that's the great thing about it. Really, just you could sit and just stew on that and chew on that thought. It's really good. Speaking of rocking. You guys can all rock out by going to xaegisband.com.
Yes, that's www.exaegisband.com.
And you're going to get your face rocked off. Actually, no, your face will still be fine. But you can get rocked big time if you go to our website and check out our music. And please make sure to follow us on social media when you do that as well. And so you can get all the updates on our activities.
If you go there tonight, we're going to rock you tonight.
Is that only tonight, though?
Yes.
But unless it's tomorrow, then we'll rock you tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, we're going to rock you tomorrow. That would have been a good follow-up
We haven't
song.
actually written that song yet, though.
They should have written
tomorrow.
that.
I'm going to write you
perfect.
tomorrow. That's good. That's good. That's next. That's on the list.
That's right.
So maybe X Aegis 2 will actually be one of the songs.
I think so.
We're working this out in real time.
Ooh, oh my God. Well, now we can't call the album X Aegis 2 The End Continues.
No, we can't. Maybe Electric Boogaloo? Is that taken? X Aegis 2 Electric Boogaloo?
You know what? As much as I love Beat Street 2, and my cousin Mark got me the cassette tape when I was a kid, and I listened to it. Yeah, right.
Several times actually. This is like Louis Shortsuds level, like
right. But unfortunately, like fascists have taken.
Oh, what a bummer!
Yeah,
man.
the whole Boogaloo thing. Yeah, it's a
can't have nice things.
It's like a shitty fascist, like white supremacist thing now.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it does
anyway,
suck.
But you know what? What doesn't suck is all of you listeners. Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Guitar Controversial Podcast with Ryan and Scott. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, and go check out Spinal Tap 2. The End Continues, and we'll catch you guys next podcast.
Peace.